The iPhone 17e is set to deliver Apple's signature performance at a far more budget-friendly price tag, and today we've got the very first look along with a bunch of spec confirmations. Now, with the main iPhone 17 lineup already out of the way, there's just one more model left to launch, and that's the iPhone 17e. And if you're new to the E branding, this is always the most affordable iPhone in the whole series. Now, Apple keeps the price lower by reusing some older parts and trimming back on features that most everyday users don't really care about. It's basically the entry point into the latest iPhone generation. Now let's start with the display, and there were a lot of rumors claiming that the 17e would inherit the iPhone 16's panel and finally bring the dynamic island to the E series, but there's also plenty suggesting that that's not happening either, and instead Apple could be sticking with the familiar notch design from the previous models. Now it makes sense though, keeping a slightly lower spec screen helps separate the 17e from the standard iPhone 17, as Apple doesn't want them competing too closely. What we do know though is it's going to be a 6.1-inch display, it's going to be running at 60Hz, and it's going to be protected by ceramic shield, which is plenty durable, but unfortunately we're not getting ProMotion. Now, a great way to protect the screen on your iPad though is with today's video sponsor Paperlike, the screen protector that not only keeps your display safe, but it makes your iPad feel like you're writing on real paper. Now, installation is straightforward and everything you need is already included in the box for a clean, stress-free setup. The newest version includes the Butterfly application system as well, making the process smoother than ever. What sets Paperlike apart is its nanodots technology. There's tiny microbeads on the surface that just add the right amount of resistance. The result is that authentic paper-like texturing when writing or sketching, while also reducing wear on your Apple Pencil's tip. It was ideal for artists, students, and note-takers, and even though I don't really draw myself, I personally love how it transforms handwriting on the iPad into a more natural, enjoyable experience, plus it doubles up as protection for your screen and has an anti-glare finish that improves viewing with things like media. So if you want your iPad to feel closer to pen and paper, then check out Paperlike now by clicking the link down in the description below. And best of all, each pack includes 2 protectors, so you're covered for the long run. When it comes to performance, the iPhone 17e is still getting the brand new A19 chip, the very same processor that's found in the standard iPhone 17. The catch is though that expect this to be a bin version, and in simple terms, when Apple makes these processors, not every chip comes out perfectly. Some have a few cores that don't pass the testing, and instead of just wasting those chips, Apple disables those cores, sometimes even physically lasering them off, and they can then use those chips in the more affordable models. Now, this process increases the overall yield of the chipset, and it allows Apple to offer flagship class performance at a lower price point. Now, we're also looking at 8GB of RAM paired with storage options of 128, 256 or 512GB, but of course you can't be expecting a 1TB version, as that's reserved for the Pro lineup, and realistically there just isn't much demand for that amount of storage on a budget device. Now, for cameras, you're going to get a 12-megapixel selfie camera. Unlike the rest of the iPhone 17 family, it's also not going to use that new square sensor design either, and this is another way they're going to keep it positioned below the base model. And then on the back, there's a single 48-megapixel camera, and it's not the exact same one that's found in the iPhone 17 or the 17 Air, but it's still more than capable of taking excellent photos for everyday use. Now, powering everything is going to be a 4005 mAh battery with support for 10-watt wireless charging. The build is going to stick with an aluminium frame and a glass back, just like last year's models, and where Apple often like to mix things up with the E though is with the color options. While we don't have any confirmed shades just yet, expect some bright and fun choices that set the 17e apart from the more serious finishes of the flagship models. Naturally, the iPhone 17e is going to ship with iOS 26 right out of the box, giving you all the latest software features that Apple has to offer, and price is rumored to start around $600, which, when you factor in the A19 chip, solid battery, decent cameras, and Apple's long-term software support, it makes it a really attractive package for anyone who just wants an iPhone that does the basics extremely well without breaking the bank. Now, as for launch timing, nothing has been officially confirmed yet, but history suggests a February or a March 26 release, and that 6-month gap after the iPhone 17 launch lets Apple catch another wave of buyers without stealing sales from its flagship models. Now, of course, it was still months away, so some of these details could shift slightly. Leaks this early, of course, aren't always 100% accurate, but as we move closer, the picture becomes clearer and clearer. And of course, if any leaks come in the meantime, I'm going to be sharing them straight away, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss a thing in the future.